Hi, welcome to another edition of Onside SA. Budge and I are going to run through what's happening. Obviously, the best part of the show is to find out how people are doing and who's got the bragging rights for last one standing. Budge was good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about 6. We've left 6 running, and these 2 guys both went out, so they go again this week.
Well, what happened is, Paul, they went out week 11. Last week they came, they were both on Norwich. So I got a hold of Bradley. I said, listen, Henry's on Norwich. He said, no, change it. Can't have the competition going too long. So he changed to Sheffield United. Now they both won.
Yes.
So they'll be in. I'll send in the teams that they've used. They do know them. But yeah, week 6 competition.
They've got to be getting down to the less fashionable teams.
Well, they're under pressure, but you know, Norwich and Sheffield United both winning.
Both very good pulls.
Two very good picks.
Okay, that's Bradley Parker and Henry Nordy. Well done to both of them. Right, the main one, the last one standing, we've got everybody involved early, and it's always brilliant after the first week to see all the braggarts go missing. It's all about bragging rights. I took 4 teams, one of mine went missing, and good to get Owen in, you know.
Yeah, Owen Heffer, emergency acceptor, Paul. He came in the last minute. You know, he's 1 out of 2. He's unlucky with Man City. But
so he's half out.
Norwich, he was in with Norwich. He went Norwich, Man City.
He went Norwich, Man City. He ain't going to stay in too long.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
Well, the Norwich bet he can take Man City this week.
Yeah, he's got Man City, yeah.
Oh, raise your game, pal. Right, last one standing, as I say this week. These are the guys who really struck, and we must mention them. Sean Singleton, 10, all 10 went through. Gary Citron without the E, 6, all 6 went through. Jared Werner's 5, all 5
Lawrence's son, yeah.
Yeah, Lawrence's Lati. Anthony Sewer, he's always quite close.
Yeah, Ant's, I think, read the script. He went all 5 on Liverpool. So Ant's got a game plan. He fancied the team. They look good things. He lumps all on.
5 out of 5. And then tip of the week, Greg Van Rooyen went for Sheffield United.
Yeah, the Colonel, where he was the only guy in Sheffield United.
The Colonel.
The Colonel, yeah.
Colonel Van Rooyen.
Yep.
Okay. And then
a lot to say,
Mark
Greg,
Curry's gang, 20 in, 20 through.
Yeah, superb, you know. I don't know if they're doing any work at Investec, but now the great effort from the guys.
Yeah, just to touch on, before we're trying to get Stevie in the line. We've got Stevie in the line. Won't be a moment. We'll just give you the latest on week 1 of the new contest. The teams that went out, the guys who had these teams went out. Some were unfortunate. Chelsea, Brighton, Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Man City, Newcastle, Man United, West Ham and Wolves. Those are all the teams that went out. So get ready for this week. We are taking the Friday game.
Yeah, Friday's in, Paul. They've all been notified. The Friday game is in. A lot of people used Everton last week, so I doubt they'll go for Aston Villa to beat them this week. But the Friday game is included, yes.
John Terry's there.
John Terry's assistant
with his
coach.
Peaky Blinders hat. I saw him in the crowd,
Better start defending better, otherwise you could be playing,
Okay, right. Let's see. We got Stevie on the line from our studio in London. No, he's not in the studio today. Stevie, you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
Morning, Steve.
How are you? I suppose you're still grooving after beating Millwall 4-0 last night?
No, well, I think it was more than a beating. I mean, it was an exhibition. In all honesty, it was. We broke 2 championship records last night. One was the most possession of any championship team since records started, 84.5%, and the other was we completed over 900 passes, which was just ridiculous.
Well, you know, Steve, you know where that's coming from, Steve, that we taught Parker at Spurs how to take that.
No, it was, I mean, last week he went on record after we won at Huddersfield and said that when we click, you know, we're gonna start showing what we can do. Well, actually, I'm just worried they peaked too early because it was an exceptional performance. But, you know, it's early days, but we couldn't have asked for any more than the team gave us last night.
Yeah, we watched the game, Stevie. Now getting the championship games. We had the Invincibles on last night, you know. So I think Jack Butland's career with England is over after the 2 howlers he threw.
Well, I think he made a big mistake by electing to stay with Stoke for a second season in the lower league. You know, there's no way you're going to play for England as a goalkeeper if you're playing in the Championship. So, but I think it sounds like I was listening to the Stoke fans phoning in last night, and they all seem to think, you know, his head's not in the right place, and he probably needs to be dropped for a while. But, you know, it's sad because he really was touted as being England's #1 a little while ago.
Yeah. Steve, who got the goals for Fulham?
Cavaliero got 2 more, got another amazing opener. Mitrovic got a penalty, and Anthony Lockhart got his first goal. I think that, you know, obviously we're very excited about our front 3, and they all scored last night.
Yeah, well, that's excellent.
Well, let's hope you continue this weekend, Steve, because you're in all our bets.
Yeah, well, no, that's going to be a tighter game. I think Forest tries to play football. That actually suits us because I think, we'd rather be playing against teams that are a bit more expansive. I mean, Millwall came and tried, they got their tactics wrong, but they came and put sort of 10 men behind the ball. Yeah. And once we got ahead, that was it.
Yeah.
Right, Steve, we've got a couple of topics to discuss with you. Some are still in the air, but you might have more info for us, and some are getting concluded. I know Budge wrote up some...
Yeah, Alexis Sanchez, Steve, what's the latest with him? Is he going on loan or not?
It looks like that could well happen in the next few days. They're just ironing out a deal with Inter Milan. United, I think, are pretty much... No, they will have to pay about half of his wages. Maybe there's an option to buy at the end of it, but there seems to be no question that he's unlikely to feature for United. So I think that will happen. There's little point, United not doing the deal.
Yeah.
Inter, as we know, obviously have sort of brought in Lukaku, so I think, they feel they can sort of put Sanchez to play alongside him. And maybe it might help resurrect his career a bit because it's going nowhere in the UK.
Why are they not playing him? Is there a reason? Is he a bad influence, or is he...
I just think for whatever reason, it's just he just hasn't fitted into the United style of play at all. He came with a big reputation, scored a lot of goals at Arsenal, but it just hasn't happened for him. Yeah. And I just don't think that they fancy him as one of their front players.
Yeah, true. The Neymar situation at Barcelona, Steve, how's that going on?
Well, I understand yesterday that Barcelona came back with yet another offer, but PSG is saying they want 250 million euro for him, and you just think,
right.
Just getting crazy. It's a lot of money, but it's is he worth sort of breaking the bank for at that sort of level? So having said that, it seems little point in having him sitting and playing with the reserves at PSG. So you think that if there is a deal to be done, they've got to do it in the next 2 weeks before the transfer window ends.
Yeah, I don't see Barcelona spending that money. Yeah,
is he playing for PSG?
No, he's in the reserves.
It's in the reserves, so it doesn't. At the moment, it doesn't sort of suit anybody the situation. I think I'm sure if both sides can find some common ground, they'll do a deal. It may even be that one of the reports I was reading this morning, there could be a loan with an option to buy, and that might actually be the way it's going to go. So it gives everyone, I guess, a bit of time to adjust to it all.
Yeah, I disagree with that deal. What happens if he breaks his leg and he's out? You've lost a £200 million asset,
But you're not paying salaries. You're not paying salaries.
For me, I'd rather sell him and get some money back. But they spent $200 million on him anyway, didn't they?
At least.
Yeah. So, but sometimes you can't always recoup what you lay out, and I think that's. But they've got to balance the books. I mean, obviously they've got FFP issues. So,
Steve, on the Christian Eriksen, I know Paul will know.
Wanyama, 2 Spurs boys. Wanyama's up there.
What is going on with those two?
Wanyama looks. The latest is it looks like Tottenham have done a deal to sell him to Bruges for about £11 million. So that's probably good. I mean, he's not too close to a first team sort of regular spot. So if he goes to Belgium, he'll play regularly. It'll probably give him the opportunity to get back and again kickstart his career a bit because he's down the pecking order at Spurs. So I think that will happen. I think that's and that's good for Bruges. I mean they get a decent sort of midfielder in. Yeah, Eriksen's gone very quiet. Eriksen's gone very quiet the last few days. I mean I'm sure this is getting to that point. Obviously Tottenham really don't want him to go, but he hasn't signed a new contract, and they've got to make this decision. What happens if we get to the 2nd of September, European transfer window's done, and then he can talk to anybody in January with a view to leaving for nothing. Having said that, if he doesn't want to sign a new contract, what does Tottenham do? Do they keep him and lose 50 million, or But having the other side of it is that there don't seem to be any firm offers for him. So, which is surprising. Someone, I suspect, if his agent's out there saying, look, he does want to leave, someone's going to come in for a bid. And it could be Real Madrid still, because if they've given up any hope of getting Pogba, you'd think that they might come back.
Yeah, I suppose I think have sold Ndu. Ndu's been sold off, so they've got some money, and they don't want a Berbatov situation.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. I mean, having said that, if we look at the influence that he had when he came on a week or so ago, just changed the game.
Yeah.
it's a difficult one, and this is one of the reasons why I think the Premier League are pushing very much to have the transfer windows aligned next summer. I don't think it works, and certainly not in favour of the English Premier League having our window shut 3 weeks before the rest of Europe. I can't see why that doesn't benefit anybody. I think for all the big leagues, they should all shut at the same time. There's no question. That I suspect may happen next year. So 2nd of September, 8th of August this year, and 2nd of September for the other big leagues. It's too big a gap. It's sort of, I think the sort of pressures on teams. So we'll see. I mean, as I say, there is still another sort of 10 days of activity that could happen.
Steve, talking about shut, I see Bury and Bolton are both in serious trouble.
They're very sad. And the Bury situation, I mean, that one just seems to be crazy. The chairman, Steve Daly, who's only owned the club for 8 months, just seems reluctant to sell. He keeps saying that he wants a better offer. Well, if there is no offer in the next 36 hours, they're going out of business. So you probably wouldn't have heard it, but there was a radio interview last week on one of the main sports programs interviewing the Bury chairman, and then the captain was interviewed, and basically the captain called out the chairman because the chairman was saying that he's trying to, he was basically saying all the things he's trying to do, and the captain just came on and just called him a liar. And it all kicked off on the radio because basically no one seems to quite comprehend what the chairman's playing at, because he just seems reluctant to let the club go. He only paid £1 for it himself, but he just seems reluctant to let the club go. And the club, and you think 134 years they've been in the Football League, one of the oldest clubs.
Yeah.
I think it's dreadfully sad. And I think the other thing as well is when you see that we're talking about Neymar going for €250 million, and then you've got sort of Bury who are in debt for a fraction of that if you go out of business. And you just think there's something wrong in the world of football, that you've got at the top, you've got ridiculous money, and then you've got clubs like Bury and Bolton, who are stalwarts of the English Football League for over 100 years, could both go out of business.
Yeah, sad. Steve, on to the games for the weekend. The big ones, obviously, Liverpool-Arsenal. How do you see that one?
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a close game. I think Arsenal in patches, I think have played well. They did last weekend. I think Liverpool proved to be a little bit too strong. So I'm just going to go for a home win, but probably no more than by a goal.
Okay, and can Chelsea's Frank Lampard get off to a winning start this weekend?
Well, I think it's interesting because I thought they played very well in the first half against Leicester, but Leicester came out with a different side in the second half and probably unlucky not to win. Norwich on the other side, I mean, they were just a breath of fresh air, weren't they? I mean, Timu Pukki has sort of proved everyone wrong that he can step up in the Championship and score sort of quality goals. I think that'll be close. I think Chelsea normally have a very good record there.
Yeah.
They normally win. I think there's going to be.
Steve, they could have been a bit jaded from that midweek match because both them and Liverpool were flat, I thought.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably true as well. I think that's going to be close. I think there might not be more than a goal in it, but if anyone's going to win, I think Chelsea might just edge it.
We mentioned Leicester. How do you see them going at Sheffield United?
Yeah, well, again, I mean, I've watched the Sheffield United game, and they just put in a huge amount of effort.
Yeah.
What they lack in quality, they certainly don't lack in effort. I was very impressed with Leicester's second half. They really, for me, I mean, they missed an opportunity to win at Chelsea. Yeah. I think they might go one better. I could see Leicester maybe winning that game.
Okay, and can you see our last Premiership game, Wolves-Burnley? Can you see Burnley making it tough for them?
Well, Burnley are that fun. I mean, Burnley made it tough for Arsenal, and I think Wolves have got another European game. Having said that, in patches, certainly in the second half, they played very well against United, scored a great goal. I think, to say, Burnley are one of those sides. I thought at one point Arsenal would have blown them away, but Burnley sort of got back into it. I think Wolves might just edge that one. I think it's going to be tight, but again, maybe a goal in it.
Okay, and on to the Championship. Steve, your boys Fulham, I know you mentioned it earlier, be a bit too good for Forest?
I think so. I mean, I hope it's a good game. I mean, I think if we can play with, I think the tactics are such that we come out quite slowly, but once we get into the last third of the pitch, I suppose the quality of some of the players and the quick thinking of the passes. So I think they have a good game. I mean, Forest normally give us a good game, but we've got a good record against them. I'd be disappointed if we don't win that one.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Now, Derby against West Brom. West Brom fluffed the Lions last night.
Yeah, I mean, but again, I mean, we said this before. West Brom are good away. They've won their 2 away games, but drawn both their home games and got away with a very late sort of penalty. Derby as well. Derby, after a really good start, have sort of found themselves no winning 3 now and sort of losing at home to Bristol. I think that's going to be close. That probably, to me, that looks like a draw.
Okay, Sheffield Wednesday, guys have been speaking them up. How do you think they'll go deep down against my Preston boys?
I wouldn't be at all surprised. I mean, by the sounds of it, they made hard work of beating Luton, who are pretty much near the bottom.
Yeah.
I heard they were unlucky to lose at Millwall. They just couldn't break Millwall down. I think it's going to be close. I think from what I only saw the highlights, but it sounded like Preston played really well yesterday, and I think that's going to be a very tight game. Somehow I think that could either be a draw or a home win.
And the London derby, Charlton, Brentford.
Yeah, well, Charlton, I heard again yesterday, first half were excellent. Forrest came back and got a late goal, but I think it'll be a close game. Brentford, again, one of these teams, they've been touted to do a lot better, but, have still sort of only picked up 4 points this season. I think that'll be a close game. Brentford they gave Leeds a very good game. I mean, Leeds sort of got that late goal, but I understand that Brentford played very well. I think that could be another draw.
Okay, and Steve, the biggest question of the weekend for you.
Yes.
Last one standing. You stayed in with Arsenal. You made your pick yet?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to tempt fate, Paul, and go with Spurs.
Nice. You're a good man. You're a good man.
Steve, they buried you 3 times.
I think they've actually let me down twice before.
Pick someone else. Pick someone else. Okay, well, let's hope so. I'm pleased you've gone this far. I think Ramsey are booed.
Absolutely.
I think
They all stayed in.
The UK 4 stayed in. Yeah. Charlie Pigram, Stevie.
All on Everton.
All on Everton. Mark and Derek.
Yeah.
Mark Abood and Derek Ramsey.
Arsenal,
Well done to the
well
UK
Steve.
4.
Hopefully
Stevie.
Spurs don't bury you again.
Excellent. Well, let's hope your team Fulham wins. It'll take you 12 points out of 15.
Yeah.
Great start.
I think that's the key. At the moment, we're only 1 point off the top, and I think if we stay, in and around that top 2, I think we'll go up this year. I just think it's, we left it too late 2 years ago. We were like 17 points adrift at one point, missed out by 2 points, but we've started a lot better. And I think it's, as Millwall's manager said last night, if anybody finishes above Fulham, they'll be promoted. So
Good. All right.
Good.
Thanks very much, Stevie. Talk to you next week.
Cheers.
All the best, Steve.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
All right, Budge. Always great talking to him. He's always got his facts.
And also he goes to the games, supports Fulham, and
that's right.
a lot of people watch the 2-minute highlights. He's at the games.
He listens to the radio and he knows exactly what's cutting all over Europe.
Very good.
Stevie's an ace pundit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go and have a look at what you've got this week, Budge. And there's a bet that I saw. I thought I'm going to take. I don't know if I'll catch it right, but let's get Budgie's sheets up.
Well, Premiership kicks off on Friday, Paul. I fancy Everton to beat Aston Villa. Aston Villa are giving goals away, and I don't like it if you're a newly promoted team. I think there's goals in this, Paul. I fancy Everton. Watched them twice. I really like what I see. And I think 11
They're
to 10
unbeaten, Everton.
They drew with Palace.
Aston Villa unwon.
Yeah, they've lost both games. It's just that going forward, they look like scoring, but defensively, they're a sieve. And, fancy Everton, Paul.
Okay, Norwich against Chelsea.
One of my mates, Russell Mather, is a staunch Newcastle fan.
Newcastle?
Staunch, and he watched the Newcastle-Norwich game. He said at times he thought Norwich were Barcelona the way they were playing past them.
They played quickly.
He was really impressed with them.
Norwich have got that Farke.
Yeah, Daniel Farke. Yeah, he's Klopp's big mate. Came from Dortmund.
He knows his
very
stuff.
Good. Yeah, they played well against Liverpool in patches. Paul.
They were very good. Yeah.
So but everyone's expecting Chelsea to come right. I think there's goals in this as well because Chelsea defensively are suspect.
What's Peaky? What's his name up front?
Pookie. Yeah, he's a Finnish guy. He knows how to finish.
Pookie boy can play.
Yeah, he can play, Paul. So
he scored some great goals.
Yeah,
he's leading the log. Him and
the
Man City boy.
Sterling. Yeah.
So
Chelsea. I think it draws a player here.
Draws a player. Okay. Brighton and Hove Albion.
I think another draw, Paul.
This is the derby.
Brighton 4 points. They've done great. Obviously, you don't want to lose to the teams beneath them. And Southampton, well, I thought they could have picked up a point. The guy Danny Ings missed a chance against Liverpool.
That's so far this year, the miss of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, geez, I saw another one. But still, you know, while they didn't really deserve a point, the chance that he missed should have given them a point. And the way Liverpool tired.
Liverpool were bad first off. They were bad first off. I know they could have been, after that game against Chelsea during the week, 120 minutes, but budge, they were no good. They were going nowhere. And Mane, right foot, 1-0. Suddenly they go 1-0, they're a new team. They're a top team when they play well.
Yeah.
But
this will be a tight game, Paul. The fear of defeat, especially with Southampton, if they get rolled again, that's 3 defeats in a row. So they'll park the bus, play the 3-5-2. I think it draws a player in this game.
Okay. Man United, Crystal Palace. I think United will be too good.
We should be, Paul. But, you know, little youngster Daniel James on the wing, nice little player, but looked out of his depth initially, But, you know, you can only really give him a chance.
Where did he come from, Swansea?
Came from Swansea, I'm disappointed in Lingard. You know, if ever there was a game for him to turn up, because Wolves had played in the Europa League on the Thursday. In the first half, United were all over them.
Slaughtered them.
But second half, we just kept giving the ball away. And I know Pogba missed a penalty and everyone's down his throat, and rightfully so. But creativity-wise, Paul, Lingard's got to step up. You know,
when are they going to look at Mata and Matic?
Well, Mata can't run for me. You know, McTominay, I would play Matic.
He's done well.
Yeah, I would play Matic as a 3 and push Pogba on.
Lack of a bit of quality?
Yeah, no doubt, Paul. You can see it. But tight at the back, a lot better. But going forward, suspect.
That's right. So Man United have only conceded 1 goal against Wolves. Wonder goal too. All right, let's go look at Sheffield United.
Paul, this is funny, you know, Leicester the way in the second half, I think should have won. Everyone was praising Maddison. I think he cost them the game. I know the one he blasted, but he had 3 or 4 opportunities to thread Vardy in, and he never. I know, and as a right-footed player, he comes off the left. You know,
he's a good player.
He is a good player, but he cost them the game. They should have won.
Yeah.
But Sheffield United, Paul, they're the new Stoke. Remember, Stoke were into people. I think there's goals in this. But you've got to side
big
with
on
Leicester.
Leicester, me too. I'm Leicester. 12-10.
12-10, Paul. But this will be a tough game. This team won't die wondering.
Leicester haven't lost.
No.
You know they've
drawn 2.
They draw with Chelsea and they drew with Wolves.
Yeah.
No, I'm big on Leicester. They're looking for that first win, and Sheffield United are doing great.
Yep.
Okay, are we on to the Watford sheet?
Yeah, Watford, geez, this will be a desperation game. You know, Watford got beaten in the cup final, lost the first 2 games. Dreadful against Brighton, but fought hard against Everton. I was going to back them this week, but West Ham are in a similar boat. They got beat 5 by Man City last week against Brighton. Lucky with a VAR goal. This will be a physical game. I want to see what price a red card is. Because I think 2 physical teams, both desperate too, Paul.
Yeah.
A draw player for me, even though I do like Watford.
The Saturday 6:30 game to me is the game of the weekend. Liverpool at home to Arsenal.
Yeah, Liverpool at Anfield, Paul. The mob are into it, especially in the big games.
Fortress Anfield.
Yeah, they've had a week off, or a week's break from feature. I think they'll be too good for Arsenal.
Top of the log, playing second in the log. I enjoy that.
Yeah, I think, Bournemouth have a go, Paul.
Bournemouth, I'm sorry, I'm still talking about Liverpool. Arsenal. Arsenal have a go?
Yeah,
Will they bring in the Ozils of this world?
Well, away from home, I wouldn't. But, David Luiz at the back, he's going to have to do something because they've been suspect. And that front 3 of Liverpool.
Do you remember the last year? I think they lost their first 4, then they went unbeaten 22 games with Emery.
Yeah.
I think he's got them with 6 points.
When Koscielny walks out, it's at the back where they've always had a problem.
Yeah.
But I think they're under pressure here.
They've only conceded 1 goal.
Yeah, but Burnley,
Liverpool have conceded 2.
Burnley and Newcastle they've played. Not 2 good teams.
No, you're right. You're right.
5-10 and Liverpool at Anfield.
Yeah. Bournemouth, Man City.
I think they'll give them a game. But
they did. Do you remember the 1 year, 96 minutes? Sterling got the win for them.
Sterling got the win. They dived
Bournemouth
into the
play a pacey game.
Yeah. The only thing is they won't have the ball too often.
No.
That's the problem. If Man
City turn it on, they'll beat any team in the world. They really are.
Yeah, I had a good examination of the odds, and they've got a great bet. If people are interested in it, it'll come up later in the show. But got to be Man City, Paul. They're a class above.
They are certainties. Yeah. Okay, Tottenham Hotspur should beat Newcastle United. We're back at home. We're 1-4. Newcastle have troubled us before.
Yeah.
But if you look at it logically, they haven't turned up.
Paul, I just think Spurs' back 4 is decent.
Yeah.
And when you have a look, there's no the centre forward it's Rondon, and they've lost Perez. They've lost a few players. I look in the creativity department for Newcastle, not good enough.
They're not going to have much
score
ball
early. I think this is a 3-4 job.
Yeah, they're not going to have much ball. They've conceded 4 already, and I feel sorry for who's in
I
charge.
like Steve Bruce.
Yeah, good man.
You know, he's been thrown to the Wolves there, that's for sure. Yeah.
Okay, and then talking about the Wolves, they're playing against Burnley.
Well, I think if ever there's an upset of the week, this is it. You know, Wolves play Torino in the Europa League tonight in Turin.
Yes.
And that's a hard game. This is the playoff round of the Europa League. And I think they're going to rest their main players, you know, the Martinez and those guys. I think Burnley can get a draw here, Paul.
Burnley like to play the 2 big boys
you
up
know,
front.
They play up front.
But they've got 2 big defenders, Wolves.
Yeah, but
the
Connor Cody, they're a good team. Wolves are great to watch. I like the manager.
Yeah.
You know, I just think their focus could be elsewhere. They've drawn their 2 games. And it'll be a tough game, Burnley on a Sunday. It'll be a tough game for them.
All right, but let's look at the championship, which I'm so pleased we're starting to get the odd game on TV.
And the Fulham Huddersfield was a good game.
Fulham
Tuesday was Blackburn Hull. My boys were on last night. I'm glad.
I'm so glad they're showing them again. Yeah. Right, Derby, West Brom.
You know, West Brom, as Steve said, you know, Derby haven't won in the last 3. But West Brom, funny team. Charlie Austin missed a sitter last night to get them the result. I think a draw is a player in this game, Paul. West Brom, you know, Slaven Bilic.
Charlie Austin with West Brom.
Yep, he's gone there. They've got 1-2 and drawn 2 West Brom. Hard to beat, but disappointing last night. They cost a few people. But a draw for me and West Brom in that particular game.
Barnsley and Luton Town, they're both down the bottom.
Well, they both got promoted from League One last season. Barnsley never lost a game at home last year. And they played 2 games at home. They beat Fulham in one of them.
So they drew with Charlton.
Yeah, they drew with Charlton, who's 3rd in the league. You know, Barnsley 12-10, but it's such a tough league, Paul. Barnsley in a draw for me there.
Blackburn, Cardiff.
Blackburn have got a good squad.
Cardiff lost last night.
Yeah, they won 2-1. They scored late on. They beat Huddersfield. You know, Blackburn, Tony Mowbray, they've won their last 2 games. 13-10 as well, Paul. But Cardiff, Neil Warnock, this will be a desperation game because they're both physical teams. Yeah. Of the 2 teams, I fancy the home team.
Okay.
Blackburn.
Charlton, Brentford.
Local derby, Paul. I think there's goals in this one. You know, Brentford, every time I've gone from, they let me down last week. They were 6-10 at home against Hull and they drew. Charlton at home, Paul, didn't lose many last year. I think Charlton in a draw.
Okay, and then I think Fulham could beat Forest.
Yeah, they should do. You know, Forest are one of those enigmatic teams, but Fulham have got quality all over the pitch.
What does enigmatic mean?
Well, they're enigmatic.
Puzzling.
Okay, thank you. But Forest have been, but you know, 7-10 Fulham at home. Yeah, should be good things.
Now, Huddersfield have had 2 back-to-back defeats.
Yeah.
They're going to start saying, we've got to turn this around.
Well, this is a game, but, you know, Reading have got a Pushkas up front. I saw his 2 goals on Sunday where they beat Crystal Palace. Oh, not Crystal Palace. They beat Neil Warnock's team, Cardiff City. They drew last night 1-1 Reading with West Brom. They've got Charlie Adam in the team. This is upset material all over it. But you've got to think Huddersfield
can't keep losing.
But Reading aren't the worst of teams.
Hull City and Bristol.
I think 18-10 Bristol City, Paul. You know, they went to Derby and beat them 2-1. They've won their last couple. A good team. They had a poor start. Hull City have got Jared Bowen, everybody likes, but defensively they suspect. I think there'll be goals in this, Paul, but I'm all over Bristol City.
Middlesbrough, Millwall?
Well, they got their first home win in midweek. Millwall got a pasting last night by Fulham. You wonder how they're going to react. It should be Middlesbrough, but just don't trust them at the moment under Jonathan Woodgate.
Roll your sleeves up, Millwall.
Yeah.
Your boys, Preston North End?
Paul, we got given 2 goals last night. That Butland, I think he was our best player. It was terrible. But at home at Deepdale, that's where we're going to. If you're going to be a promotion contender, it's at home. Sheffield Wednesday going well, a lot of experience. It'll be a tight game, Paul.
Yeah.
Preston and a draw.
QPR?
I fancy QPR. I know they got murdered last night by Swansea, but Wigan have lost their last 4. Away from home, they're terrible. 9-10 QPR for me, Paul.
Stoke City.
After watching them last night, Paul, empty out on Leeds.
11-10.
Yeah, that's what it was. You know, and
you take 11-10. I like Leicester. 11-10, 12-10. You know,
7-2.
7-2. The
double.
You've
got to fancy them. You know, Stoke, the goalkeeper through to win.
Yeah.
You know, they've got a lot of like Vokes. They got Joe Allen who was at Liverpool. They've got some players, but you can't play without a goalkeeper that's on your side. And 11-10 Leeds all day.
So in the last one, Swansea
it's a Sunday
City,
game.
Birmingham.
Swansea won 3 and drawn 1 of their 4 games this year. Jeez. Birmingham City, they got a good result. They beat Barnsley at home. I think there'll be goals in that, but 9-10 Swansea, Paul. I just don't like Sunday lunchtime kickoffs.
Yeah.
But you've got to fancy
I love
Swansea.
Them if you're watching.
If you're watching. I think the game will be on.
Okay, what about PSL?
Yeah.
Now, PSL fixtures, you know, there's been some Pirates have got turmoil.
Yeah, well, they drew with Amazulu in midweek. I watched the game.
But they lost the two before that.
Yeah, they've lost. They got beaten in the cup. Black Leopards Highlands Park beat them in the MTN 8, struggling. But I like Highlands in the first game, Paul. Black Leopards struggle to score. I've been impressed with Highlands. They got beat by Chiefs 3-2 at home.
Yeah, they're organised from the top down.
Yep, well organised, you know. It's a tough game, Paul. 17-10, the draw is obviously, you can see it's favoured, but Highlands Park in the draw for me there.
Arrows Chipper?
Paul, every time they play this game ends in a draw. They both don't score many goals.
Yeah.
So 18-10, but Golden Arrows at home, Sugar Ray Kulu Stadium. Of the two, fancy them, but it'll be a tight game.
Remember Sugar Ray Kulu, eh?
Good with him at the sports shop. What a great guy.
Yeah, what a lovely guy, Sugar Ray Kulu.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go Kaiser Chiefs Supersport. Another good game.
They've got the betting. I fancy Supersport, Paul. We backed them to win the MTN 8. They destroyed Pirates 3-0. They murdered Wits 3-0.
Who's the boss there?
Well, it's a guy, Kaitana Temba. I think he's a Zambian guy. He's got them firing.
Knows his stuff, eh?
Very good coach. And Chiefs have been impressive, but defensively they look a bit suspect. They play a 3-4-3. I think this has got upset all over it, Paul.
All right, how about Baraka against Bloem?
You know, we went over 2.5 goals here. I think it was 16-10. Bloem Celtic are good to watch, Paul. They got beat 3-1 by Sundowns in the MTN quarter-final, but they gave Sundowns a game. Baraka don't win at home. I think they've only won 1 of 15, but they always score.
Yeah.
So I think there'll be goals in this, Paul. I like Celtic of the two teams.
Okay, and then Stellenbosch?
Well, you know, Stellenbosch were unlucky against Cape Town City. That's Steve Barker's team. The guy missed an absolute sit and injury time to get them a point against Cape Town City. This will be a tight game, Paul. Eric Tinkler, Maritzburg, well organised. 16-10 is the favourite, Paul, for a reason.
Yeah.
Be low on goals there, that's for sure.
All right, let's look at your bets, Budge. Right, talk me through this.
Soccer 6 is, I've gone Highlands Park, win and draw at Black Leopards. I've gone Golden Arrows, win and draw at home against Chipper United. I've gone Brighton, win and draw at home against Southampton. Man United surely must beat Crystal Palace at Old Trafford. I've gone with Watford, win and draw against West Ham, and I think Supersport won't get beat by Kaiser Chiefs on Saturday night, 192.
Okay, let's look at the next soccer.
Yeah, the English, with a Scottish game thrown in. I've gone the field in the Brighton-Southampton game. I've gone Hibernian, win and draw at home against St Johnstone. I've banked in Man United to beat Crystal Palace. I've gone Leicester City, win and draw at Bramall Lane against Sheffield United. I've gone the field in the Watford, West Ham, London Derby, and I've banked in Liverpool to beat Arsenal, 216.
All right, let's look at the 10.
Yeah, the 10, I've gone Highlands Park, win and draw at Black Leopards. I've gone Golden Arrows, win and draw at home against Chipper. Hoffenheim, win and draw at home against Werder Bremen. Started with Bayer Leverkusen to get a good result at Fortuna Düsseldorf. I've gone Brighton, win and draw at home against Southampton. Second page, I've banked Man United to beat Crystal Palace. I had to find another banker, so I've gone Leicester City to win at Sheffield United.
Yeah.
I've gone Watford, win and draw against West Ham. I've gone Supersport United, win and draw against the Amakosi of Kaiser Chiefs. And I've banked Liverpool to beat Arsenal.
Okay, now the big one.
These
pay big money.
Yeah, if you catch it, Paul, you can retire for a few weeks. I've banked United to beat Crystal Palace. Likewise, Liverpool to beat Arsenal. I've gone Brighton, win and draw at home against Southampton. I've thrown the draw in Leicester City, win and draw at Sheffield United. I've gone Watford, win and draw at home against West Ham. Looking for the upset, I've gone Burnley to get a good result at Wolverhampton. I've thrown the field in Sirius versus Orebra, the Swedish Allsvenskan relegation battle. I've banked Leeds to beat Stoke City. I've gone Blackburn to beat Cardiff City. I've gone Fulham to beat Notts Forest. Likewise, Middlesbrough to win at home against Millwall. I've gone Preston North End, win and draw at home against Sheffield Wednesday. And I think QPR will be too good for Wigan. 326 rand.
Those are hard to catch, but they're
great.
difficult,
but if you can catch one, Paul.
Yeah, you got to take your chances.
Yeah, even 12 out of 13's pay. So, you know, a few results. Away you go.
All right, so Buzz, let's move on to your
the bets for the weekend.
Tell us about your treble and your quad.
I've gone Everton to beat Aston Villa and over 2.5 total goals.
Okay.
I think, the next one, I've gone over 2.5 goals in the Sheffield United Leicester City game, and I'm looking for the upset. I thought it was 9.5 to 10 Burnley to win or draw at Wolverhampton Wanderers. 2,500 to 200.
Okay.
On to the Championship. I've gone Bristol City to beat Hull City. I've gone Fulham to beat Notts Forest.
Fulham.
I've gone QPR to beat Wigan. And I've gone over 2.5 goals in the London derby between Charlton Athletic and Brentford, 3,200 to 200.
Superb.
On to our PSL bet. I think Supersport United will beat Kaizer Chiefs. I've gone over 2.5 goals in the Baroka Bloemfontein Celtic clash. And I've gone 1 or no teams to score in the Golden Arrows Chipper United game. 2,700
1
to
or
200.
no teams to score?
Yeah, they both can't score.
I got you.
It's got a
so
0-0, 1-0.
3-0 is good for us.
As long as both teams don't score, we hope.
Okay, now both teams
Both
to
teams
score.
to score, yeah. They both have
You
to
put
score.
you put the same game in?
No, no. No, not the Irish one. Yeah. Yeah, I've gone Bournemouth, Man City, Norwich, Chelsea, Barnsley, Luton Town, Charlton, Brentford, and Swansea, Birmingham City.
You pushed that league there, bud. You pushed that
Paul,
league.
they have a go. Just watching last night, they don't die wondering.
Yeah.
They have a full go.
Okay.
So that's my 2,900 to 200.
Anytime goal scorer. Now this is a toughie.
This is a toughie. And I was going to go to Spanish La Liga, but that league has had one week, Paul. I didn't watch much of it, and the results were absolute carnage.
Okay, I'm just looking at the guys you've got here.
I've gone your man, Son. Now he's
How
going
do
to
you know
play.
he's going to start?
Well, he's got to start.
Why has he got to start?
He's your best player.
Moura and Kane might start.
No, Kane, Son,
starts.
and one other.
Kane starts, Eriksson starts.
Yeah, he's in the midfield.
Moura, no, Moura could start.
He has to start.
Lamela's going to start.
Yeah.
The new boy's going to start. I hope Son gets a run. Never
Son
mind
will
starts.
start. He'll come off the bench, he'll still score.
Okay.
Now, Kevin De Bruyne, he's 19 to 10 to score against Bournemouth.
Class act.
I think he's the best player in the league, Paul.
Me too. He gives the best assists.
He's brilliant. You know, and what amazes me is they're talking about Paul Pogba. He's a better player than Paul Pogba.
Day and night.
So if Real Madrid are coming in, I don't know whether they got something with Man, they don't buy their players, but Kevin De Bruyne, 19 to 10, that's got me written all over it. And I think Rashford will get a penalty. We'll get a penalty.
But won't Pogba get it back?
No chance. I don't think he'd be allowed in the box. So that was 12 to 1, Paul. Listen, I left the Spanish omelette, as we call it, out. So I've taken 2,400 anytime goal scorers. Okay. And our Collis King 6 on next time. I think Liverpool will beat Arsenal. Unless Stevie B puts the mockers on Spurs, I think they'll beat Newcastle. I think Fulham will beat Notts Forest. QPR to win at home against Wigan. And the two Spaniards, I think Barcelona, after getting beat last week, will rebound and be too good at home for Real Betis. And I like Sevilla to beat Granada. 2,800 to 200.
Best bet.
Yeah, I've gone Leeds, Paul. Just watching Stoke City last night, they're woeful. I think they're going to drop the goalkeeper. I've no doubt he's going to get dropped. His mind's elsewhere. He doesn't look like he wants to be there. And Leeds away from home. Good team, Paul. They got us some money last week. I think 11 at 10 is an absolute gift.
Value bet, Bristol on the up.
Yeah, I like Bristol City, Paul. They're on the up. Yeah, they're playing a whole City team. Great pitch, they say. Good team, Bristol City. 18 to 10. And I think they've mispriced that, Paul.
Oh, well, Budge, let's hope you've got it right. And so that's it. Last one standing starts Friday.
Last one standing starts 7 o'clock. And everyone will get the WhatsApps again, Paul. But they all know.
But it was a good turnout again. I can see the bragging rights are coming, and you've told us who's got it right and who's got it wrong. Yeah. And as I say, Owen's half out already. Yeah. And
last we had 6 ladies in. They all went through. So I didn't want to mention that because some of them have said, please, don't spook us.
Don't spook us. Well,
said nothing.
Well, the UK 4 stayed in, so that's very
unusual. A miracle on.
Yeah. All right, so don't forget, that's it. And we want to make sure you get those bets on in time. And there's some good bets that Budge picked out later, including his best bet and his value bet, which I think always seem to do well. Until next time, stay on side.